Oh man, one stuff that I almost let out slide. This one is hilarious because yes, when you are giving a best service, no wonder that you are going to succeed. But also, if you are just giving a shitty service, don't get surprised that you are just flopping and losing money. So this headline, the launcher sucks. Let's call it for what it is. Epic Game Store boss says, promising a year of big improvements to speed, new quote-unquote forum type, social features, more. Let me get this straight. It took them years to add the cart functionality into the storefront. To this day, you don't have user reviews, and even they didn't have a launch like support for a lot of things like controllers and whatnot compared to what Steam already support even from games that released at launch. And yeah, but they said, oh, but what about my developer service? Yeah, you can show out your developer's benefit up to your ass. Doesn't mean shit when it comes to their main target customer, which is the gamer. But look at this nonsense. Steven Allison acknowledging some people will always say fuck Epic as focus finally shifts to player experience. We are in 2026 and they saying, oh, we want to actually pivot to the player experience. You have been running that storefront at a loss for years. That the amount of money that Epic Games keep losing is increasing, doubling down, triple down by each year. And now they're really reconsidering. Well, we should really drop the my pro developer stance and focus on the player. Seriously, yeah, what a drooling retard, man. But at least it's funny seeing the, oh yeah, the launcher sucks. Yes, the fucking launcher sucks. Epic has released its unusual stream of annual stats for the Epic Game Store, including a big increase in third-party spending and confirmation of a notable drop in Fortnite playtime. But alongside that, the publisher, developer, engine maker, and storefront owner is also promising some major improvements to the off Malignant store itself. Yeah, I press X to that with that one. The headline improvements come in the form of much better speed, more features, noticeable social ones from players to player, and cross-platform library between your PC and your mobile phone. We have a lot of things we need to fix, admitted Epic Games Store Vice President and General Manager Steven Allison said during an interview with Eurogamer. We have needed to fix them for years. We haven't really focused on developer tooling. Yes, focusing on the stuff that it doesn't mean shit for the player. Okay, and all the things we do there. Yeah, remember this all are already old meme where Epic Games is pro developer and Steam is pro consumer. It's not surprising that this is the outcome. They say, you know what, let's stop focusing on the developer. Even the developer is just, for the most part, most of that they are wanting to sign exclusivity deals with us. They either don't believe in into their fucking projects, and we gave them money beforehand just to sign these exclusivity deals. And all of those, man, all of this nonsense. Oh, but we want to benefit the developer, something that Steam never does. And then you we see Twin Sweeney bitching like a fucking drooler, cheating on the laws in the UK. But we never have seen from that storm from something pro-consumer. Also remember, yeah, we have seen that Steam has censorship, and we have covered this a lot of times. But also keep in mind, Epic Game Store is the same in no fucking worse because they are two body bodies with the AAA industry. So yeah, you had a lot of years to fix it. Now you're getting it. GOG announced that they are actually launching the Linux support. And GOG is a private company, and they care not only for the consumers, they also care for preservation. You know, since we have seen the more recent example of fucking now is Sega with the Yakuza series. They delisted Yakuza 0, and now they are on its way to the list Yakuza 3. And while they are still getting involved themselves into a lot of drama that is just a fucking shit show at this point, yeah, but we're still going to see Yakuza 3 being sold, even with a discount in the future on GOG. But because they care about preservation too, which was is in the name itself, good old games. And all the indie developers that are releasing their games at launch on GOG, even when Steam doesn't want to accept them, and they are releasing for the most part uncensored, or even selling you hentai games. Even they the most strongest point from them is selling you stuff without DRM. So we have seen focus here. The Steam, despite that they don't sell you games, they sell you licenses, but they give you the best service at that with the best pricing. And then you see GOG, where already the examples I made here. Do you everyone see any of this shit on the Epic Games storefront? No, it's undeniable. And it was because this fucking focus. They just really wanted to be so bitchy into destroying Steam and the competition, saying, "Oh look, we have an engine backing us up." Yes, and we are seeing that your engine is oftentimes, if not every single time, level as slop. They become the next Unity. So yeah, focusing on the developers, man. That was their main top priority because they said, oh, if they make comfortable for those developers to release uh, or in our storefront, which is a shitty version of Steam and GOG with board service, yeah, they're going to love it. Let's encourage all of those developers. And this is the outcome of, say, developers that they let themselves being tricked by these lies. They ruin their reputation because nobody's going to trust them. Or in fact, even if there are still people willing to give them the benefit of the doubt, they are going to do it on Steam. The most expensive advertisement for Steam in goddamn history. So look at this. But last year, we finally started to point more of our resources towards player experience stuff, and all the things that our players have needed, wanted, and all critics rightfully take us to task on. You had years for that, honestly. We got a lot of stuff off the door last year, and this year is going to be probably the best year for that stuff on the big rocks. Meanwhile, those features already exist on Steam. And the big rocks are the launcher sucks. Let's call it for what it is. It's really slow. He continued. At least you have that self awareness to admit it. It makes calls to our backend services to refresh every time you click around. Yes, imagine making something that also takes resources from everyone using their launcher because, yeah, it's unoptimized as shit. And depending on your connection, you have to wait a couple seconds, and that just doesn't feel good, especially when people are comparing and contrasting and dual using one that doesn't do that. Yeah, because they already know that your storefront is shit, your launcher is shit, it's dog shit, installing it is cancer. You are not given any sort of benefit. Even when you try to bribe people with free shit, yes, they are still seeing you with such a content because, yeah, you are a shitty service. You are at technical level, at service level, at pro consumer level. You fail at everything. It should start to feel good, be faster, and people be like, holy shit, it doesn't suck so much. And yeah, even some people really committed instead to giving money to this storefront, but we nothing that we have already called out. It was pretty candid acknowledgement from Allison, who seems well aware of the criticism Epic has faced for its user experience. Another of those in the Epic Games Store lacks on functionality compared to its main rivals such as Steam, but they wanted to declare a already lose war on Steam. Looks like it was pretty much seeing Epic Games just kicking their own teeth with their own foot well, in the most unexpected, flexible ways, just saying. It's also now finally been addressed. He went on, we have no social framework in the store, like other stores, even console platforms, which have the ability to communicate with your friends, and we just kind of stripped that off during COVID and never brought it back. So they had a roadmap of a lot of things. Even I know my stances on that social features have changed quite a while, especially with all of the moderation that keep pushing. But hey, other platforms already had it. As a result, Epic is set to bring quote-unquote community spaces to the Epic Game Store, more like curated spaces by developers, not the players, adding avatars, player profiles, and private messaging to cross-platform text chat, and added voice chat and gate independent parties from Q2 this year. I also noted this is coming in May, to be precise. A cross-platform library will come into the autumn, along with the new quote-unquote library management functionality, region-specific fronts, and a launch of the store on iOS in Japan in March and Brazil in June. All this marks the first proper step towards addressing some of the many players-facing issues that have been raised by users over the years. It's too fucking late for that shit, man. Nah, too fucking late. From those lacking social functions to wider community features such as user reviews, and this is the most important one. They remember Tim Sweeney bitched about user reviews on Steam because he said, "Oh, they can review a bomb for no reason at all." Fuck off with that statement. It's such a dog shit diarrhea statement. Review bombing always happens for a fucking reason. And even when even someone that doesn't know why that one game is being review bombed, you can actually search for yourself. It's easier even on social media scene. Oh, so they are review bombing them because one censorship, they added DRM, they they deleted content, which happens what happened in a lot with a lot of AAA games, and all of the other stuff mentioning happened with AAA games too. Uh, or that the game stopped working because they had such online features that if the server gets disconnected, the the game ended up being a fucking lost cause. The game is just crippled. That shit. I know Steam even has those issues there, but with those tools, the pro consumer tools at the hands of the player can make their voice, his voice, her voice, everyone's voice stand up. And even if you think, oh man, but for that reason it was absolutely retarded. And on one hand, yeah, I agree. Even depends on the situation. But you have criticism, you have dialogue, you have context. Do you see any of that shit on the Epic Games storefront? Not. That's why they are saying they were always being pro developer, because we know full well even in when front alternatives and of course the legacy industry, you have shit tons of shitty developers, dog shit developers, that they want to give this benefit into the Epic Games storefront and prompt it up AstroTurfed, because yeah, it helps them a lot. If they release a dog shit product, yes, it's going to be difficult to silence that criticism. It's not the case for Steam. Because even when old ports got happening to release on Steam, yes, oh yeah, they did such a shitty port that I don't even recommend playing it because even doesn't have uh, a fucking controller support of any kind. And the most basic support is from the Xbox Series. Well, it's the wired Xbox 360 controller. That's the thing. So yeah, it's absolutely laughable, man, that they are saying this. And of course, we know Eurogamer's trying to say, oh well, but look at this, it's going to be addressed, huh? Yeah, we already went too long with this one. That's it. Thanks for watching and please take care.